Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Can We Talk About Your WordPress Projects? Today, we're talking about CRMs with my friend, Cami Macnamara. We are both GoDaddy Pro ambassadors, and I had met her online before, but I got to meet her in person at WordCamp US in 2019, right, Cami?
Yeah, that would be correct.
Yeah, she's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and I really enjoy her perspective on things. I'm a member of her Facebook group, and she had posted she had started using Google Streak. I asked her to come on today and talk to us about that. So Cami, before we get started with the topic, tell us a little bit about who you are, how long you've been using WordPress, and your general background.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me, Beth. I always love to hang out with you, whether it's in person or online. My name is Cami Macnamara. I own WebCami Site Design. That's at webcami.com. I started building websites and started my business in 2002 before WordPress existed. About 2007, I was setting up blogs for people to attach to their website. After about 2 or 3 years of that, I'm like, why don't I just start building websites in WordPress, the whole thing? Because then clients don't have to contact me to FTP their uploads, and I'm not using Dreamweaver anymore and all this good stuff. So I have been using WordPress exclusively since 2010. That's a long time. I have 250 active clients right now, and I've built over 500 websites in the last 19 years. I'm really active. I love the WordPress community, and I'm always happy to help other freelancers get their footing with running their business because it's trial and error. It's something I'm always still working on. And the tool we're going to talk about today is something that I just discovered.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before. Now, if you're watching this in the Facebook group, you need to give StreamYard permission to allow me to see your name. Hey, Shanta, I see you. But the other person that said, hey, it says Facebook. Hey, whoever you are. If you're watching on the Facebook page, you don't have to do that. But in the group, in order for me to see who you are, you'll need to do that. So when people talk about CRMs or customer relation management or manager, if it's a tool, that means different things in different industries, and it means different things to different agencies, right? What are you looking to manage with your CRM tool?
It's super simple for me because I have a large amount of clients. I want to know when our last contact was, and I want a record of the contact that is easier to sort through than just pulling up their folder in my email program. I use Google Suite, whatever they call it now. They've changed it a million times, but Google is my home base. I learned quickly, and I have tried several CRMs, Insightly, Copper. Some of them I don't even remember the names of because they were so long ago. But really what I'm trying to get to is to stay on top of everything I need to do for a client, and having a CRM that puts all their information in one place helps me. It doesn't help if you set it up outside of your current systems and then you've just created a big to-do list for yourself and managing it. That's why I try to find things that integrate with Google.
Right, or integrate together, whatever tool, whatever suite of products you're using. I agree. I just discovered how to use some Google Calendar tools that I hadn't known about before. They're adding new stuff all the time, so it doesn't hurt to research. But how did you find out about Google Streak?
I am in a Facebook group called Profitable Project Plan. Somebody in that group posted something about Streak as we're all discussing our CRMs. I still use Insightly. It's kind of a patch system for me to get my pipeline items into Google Tasks, and I use Zapier for that. I had this patchwork going, and somebody mentioned Streak, and it looked like a spreadsheet that I was setting up myself in Google Docs or Google Sheets to track my projects. Basically, what it's doing is it's turning your emails into this spreadsheet, which I'll show you in a minute. It'll make sense. But a light bulb went off, and I thought, I can get rid of my Google Sheet and use this straight in my email. So it just came from some other web designer sharing a link in a post about CRM. So
Gotcha. I mean, that's the way it happens a lot of times. I tell my students all the time, stop asking the question, what's the best tool for X? Because it depends. It always depends on what your requirements are. Some people, when they say CRM, they want it to do invoicing. They want it to link with this and link with that. They want it to be their ticketing system. They want it to do everything. And there's other people like yours where you do everything out of email anyway. So it's more simplified.
I've tried the all-in-one answers, and those work great for some people. And it just is trial and error. You have to try things to know if it's going to work for you.
Yeah, that's always hard when it's a paid solution. Google Streak has a free option, right?
Yeah, I'm still running on the free option. I'm a solopreneur, so I have no team. A lot of times as a solopreneur, you can get a lot of mileage out of the free version.
Okay. How many clients do you have right now?
Active, I have 250.
That's a lot.
It's
Excellent.
a lot. I have a lot of incoming. Some of them I haven't heard from in 5 years. Some of them I hear from every day. It depends on what I'm doing for them and where we're at in the project and that type of thing.
Let's just say you got a new client. Does your CRM help with your onboarding?
I have a whole onboarding process set up, and I use a tool called Mcnamara for that, where I am scheduling emails and stuff. But yes, I do have a pipeline for new projects I'm going to show everyone today.
Okay, a new customer signs up. What's the first thing you do to get this all set up in Streak?
Well, should we go ahead and share my screen?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. First of all, I just wanted to share the link to Streak. It's with an A. And anyway, it's just streak.com. So check it out. If you're using Gmail, you can try it and load it into your system.
Do you have to have G Suite, or does it become Gmail?
It looks like it just goes to Gmail here. I've been in the suite setup for so long. If you're using Gmail, you should be using Suite because you want your email to be your domain.com, right? So, but if you're just in the Gmail environment, I think because they're calling it Gmail, that it's okay for that.
Stop, because we do have a lot of new people who may not know this. What Cami was referring to about having your .com as in your email, I don't know if you're new, setting up an email with your hosting provider attached to your domain name is a pain in the never ever do that. So what Cami does and what I do is that G Suite allows you to, it's not really called an alias at that point, but it basically lets you set up, like Beth at wproadmaps.com is not really tied to my domain at my host. It's a G Suite account. It may not be called G Suite anymore, but it's whatever their suite of products is.
I think they call it Workspace. Like it changes every 3 years.
Yeah, because Facebook had a workspace, but they're canceling theirs. So I can't keep track of all the names of it. But that is really helpful. If you are still using a domain or an email address that is not tied to your domain, you really need to look into G Suite, but you can Google it. That's not the topic of this conversation. Okay.
I had to do some modifications to my email account today to show you how this works without revealing all of my clients' email addresses. I just want to say the columns for who I'm talking about are hidden, and it makes it a little more difficult, but visualize everything you want to see in these columns. So I'm going to open up, this is my email account. I've got everything compressed over on the side there, and you can see it says Streak Pipelines right here. I created my own pipeline. So this one right now, can you all see the wording here clear enough? Does anybody want me to zoom in? It's a timeline for leads for me. I was able to name them how I want. In my main mailbox, I get an incoming lead. I throw them in here. If I return their email, I can change them to the next stage just by clicking the button here and saying change stage to the next. Let's say that when I made contact. So without looking at the email, I'm able to move this project through the pipeline or this lead through my pipeline to know where I am in helping this person and what I need to do. So I'm never losing a lead because I realize if it comes into incoming lead, I need to do something.
Could you zoom it up just a little? A couple of people said it's a bit
Yeah,
small.
sure. When I zoom it up, it's going to lose some of the pipelines at the top, but just okay.
I think your scroll adjusts though. I think you can scroll left to right.
All right. So can you see that better? Okay. Let's say I've made contact with this person. Let me do it here.
Shonda says she's already considering moving her work email to G Suite just for this.
Cool. All right. I'm happy to hear that. Basically, you have this little worksheet spreadsheet area. Now, I've zoomed in a lot here, but you can see it tells me the date of the last interaction. Here's one I passed on. You can customize these to be whatever you want them to be.
So you set up the pipeline with all of these different.
Yes.
Then it was closed in one, and then it was or closed and lost, then a review meeting. It goes in a progression, right?
And people I'm waiting for. Like if I don't hear from them, it's a great way for me to say, hey, I haven't heard from you since April 2nd. In that case, I probably just haven't updated it. I had a spreadsheet that would drop down and I would change, and this just changed everything for me. So there's nobody in one because when I win them, I move them into project. Okay. Here are my stages of my project. I have new admin, discovery, and education, design part 1, design part 2. These are just something I've written myself. Development, launch, support, ongoing support, my move needed, like I need to do something here, and people I'm waiting for. Down at the bottom, when we're all done, need to invoice.
That is cool.
And again, if somebody moves, if I want to move someone and their names are showing, and I put like estimated deal size, sometimes I know what it is, sometimes I don't. I should have everything filled in here, but I'm working all the time. So I'm not perfect. I don't fill in everything. If you're somebody that has time to do that, great. I'm just happy to have them in compartments where I know where they're at. Then I have clients who need maintenance. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Then I have clients who need maintenance. Here's all the maintenance requests that come in. I've scheduled the work. I'm waiting for them, need to invoice. If they're a care client and they're active, I keep them in here. I separate clients who are in my care plan from the clients who are not. When I have a client who comes in and needs a project, work done on a project, and they're not in my care plan, I just put them in a separate container. They don't get the priority, basically.
You also would invoice them, right? Whereas the people in your care plan, is some of that included in the care plan, the work that you do?
The clients I have are not in that kind of retainer care plan.
So each of those things under pipelines, where it says leads and projects in progress, those are each different pipelines. So when somebody gets to the end of the lead one or gets the project is one, you move them over to projects in progress.
Yes. When their project is done, if they become a care plan client, they move into maintenance request care plan. I have found, because I have so many clients, I can't put everyone in here because it makes it load slow. I don't want my email to take 5 minutes to load. I only keep people with active stuff happening in here. When somebody is a new site's launched, they're active for 30 days because I'm doing whatever I can to make sure their website works. After that, I drop them out of here, but they're still in my email. All I have to do is click add back to Streak. I can't show you all of those things live because it reveals my email. So unfortunately, I'm giving you a really flat view of what it can do, but I was hoping that that would be enough to give you the idea of how it works.
That's the whole point too, just in case anyone doesn't understand. I give you guys a framework for managing projects, for being productive, and where possible, I try to give you different options for tools and things, but everything that I teach you has to be customized for the way you like to work and also for the customers you serve. People ask me about project management tools and should the client log into the project management tool and blah, blah, blah. Well, it depends on your client. Some clients are just so not tech savvy that they wouldn't want to do that. Well, the same thing applies to this. As long as you get the idea of whether this is something you want to try out or you've totally eliminated, this is not going to work for me. That's the whole purpose of a talk like this. So whether you can show us every little feature is not that important.
This is something that works well for a solopreneur or a team. That I know. I don't know how it would work with the client. This is really just for me. The client doesn't need to know where they stand in the project in this system. I tell them that in a weekly email, right?
So, right. When a client has a need, do they just send you an email?
Yes.
Everything through your inbox. You don't have a ticketing system or anything.
No. And I utilized Zendesk for about a year. I had some clients that totally got it, but I had maybe 75% of the clients never even try it and still send me the email. I decided Zendesk isn't going to work because everyone is still using my email. Email is ticketing, and I use Google Tasks to manage how I'm working that. And even though it's not part of our topic today, I wanted to show you another tool called Task Board that makes your Google Tasks into a Trello-ish type board. I felt comfortable sharing with you because it's not really showing the client names, and I'm not going to scroll around on it a lot. This is generated from Google Tasks. Each one of these little envelopes you see will take me directly to the email. I'm using Google as my hub, and the tasks are the tickets, and the pipelines are where I'm at. Task Board is an extension. I think I paid $12 a year for it.
I've been keeping my Trello boards, but then moving it over as a reminder in Google Calendar. Okay, so when the client sends you the email, how do they get converted to a task?
Right here, these are all the tools I have installed in Google. I just do it natively. I click on that and it create a task. And I have my tasks.
You've got the email, you click on tasks, and then you type in what's in the email into the task. Okay.
Yeah. It pops up. I can't show you without showing my email, but it pops up with a little, and I'm able to not only put it as a task, I can put it under all tasks, project, maintenance, follow-up, incompletes. I have this matching what's going on here.
Excellent. How do the tasks relate to your pipeline?
Because tasks are emails too. I can't show you this, but there is a column that has the client name and the client email. If I click on that, it pops open my client's information. Streak also has a task feature that will insert your tasks into your calendar. The Google Tasks also does that too. So I didn't want to double up on what I was doing, and I kept my tasks exactly the same way.
Okay, so Shanta has a question about the contact information. Is that pulled from Google Contacts or email?
It's pulled from Google Contacts, but in Streak, you're able to add more information, like who was there. All of these columns in Streak, if I go to leads, hang on, if I go to leads, I can put like who referred that person. I can add stuff like that within your Gmail or your Google email system. You have more information than just in contacts. It's kind of a convoluted system, but it works for me. Like I said before, I'm using Insightly as well I can take somebody and move them in Insightly to a new pipeline, and I have it set up with Zapier to then create all my tasks in Google, and they just come in automatically. I wish there was one tool, but I've had to just patchwork all of this stuff together.
Maybe we'll get together and create a tool.
Yeah. I'm using Streak. I'm using another Streak button, Mixmax. I use Calendar. I use Tasks. There's my contacts, and there's Insightly. So there's quite a bit going on in my Gmail account.
Right. Shanta's saying, so where it's showing waiting for in the cell, that would be the actual client's name and details. Actually, she's hidden that column.
You see how you got these arrows here, here, and here? I'm hiding columns just like you do in Excel. I'm just hiding them. So I have the client's name, their company, their email address. I have various things that are personal I didn't want to share today, hidden, but it's a far more filled out spreadsheet than you can imagine. When I started adding everyone in here though, for everything, it did really make my email load slow. Plus I was loading 200 emails at a time and I brought that down to 50. I'm not a zero inbox girl. I've never been able to do that. I try to keep my inbox at about 30 all week. It's just really for reminders. I use a tool called SaneBox to help keep my email sane. This was really pretty easy to set up. Prior to this, I tried Copper, which was good for client relationship management, but it's a project management tool as well, because that ability to move people through a pipeline in your email, I feel it's a home run.
Right, because you're already in email all the time anyway. There's some people that close out email and they're only going to answer emails once a day. If that's who you are, this tool might not work for you.
What I do in the morning is I categorize it into these pipelines. I don't necessarily answer them all in the morning, but I organize them all in the morning. My calendar is a whole another thing where I have time blocking. I have a website called Cami Cafe. I blog about stuff like this. I share screenshots and everything, but my calendar has everything on it. You know, getting your tasks on your calendar, just like Beth, you mentioned you're doing reminders on your calendar, totally key. And Streak has a whole system for that. The only reason I'm not using it is because I already had it.
When you were learning to use this, was it difficult to learn? Did Google provide you enough help?
They were pretty helpful. I had some questions in the beginning and I sent them to Streak's support team and they answered me. But a lot of times I just search YouTube for videos of other people using it and taught myself. I could be using it to the fullest and I'm not, but I want to. I mean, I eventually want to get there. It's just when you're trying to run your business, work in learning all these systems to run your business, you can't always be perfect. One of the best things I ever did for my business was to give up perfection.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I am a firm believer in streamlining your own procedures. You can do projects quicker and you're an expert.
When you have 250 clients, you have to have some sort of streamlined process or you're going to go out of your mind, you know?
Well, I love like redesigning all of these client websites that were done in Genesis over 5 years ago. That's a whole nother stream of income. Your clients need to redesign their websites every 3 to 5 years. I also own Elementor. I have some care plan clients and websites I didn't build in it, but it's good to have some experience with everything. I also know Divi. That was the very first page builder I used. WP Bakery. There are some things you just like a CRM. Try them all and find the one that fits you the best.
What's your assessment of Google Streak so far? If the learning curve is going to be too long for you and you've got deadlines, then stick with what you already know. But when you do have time to look into other tools, you know,
this to me is one I'm never going to let go of because I'm a spreadsheet person. My life before being a web designer, I was a retail allocation analyst using Lotus 123. Okay, wow. It's a long time ago. I am a spreadsheet person. It makes sense in my brain to follow things through a spreadsheet. So I love this tool. I'm only going to build on it. If I get to the point where I need to upgrade, I'm upgrading. I think it's $20 a month or something, but spending money for the right tools for your business is one of the best things I've ever done. I used to be one of the people like, I'm only going to use the free version. Oh, Quattro Pro. I remember that. Yeah. Spending money for those types of tools will pay back in the long run. It's invest in yourself, invest in your business, and buy some good tools to run it because you got to have time to work on your projects if you can do all this admin stuff quicker. So yeah, I'm all in with this. I'm eventually going to get it set up perfectly for what I want and fill in, let's say 75% of the information.
Other than if you have too many clients in there, it's going to slow down how fast your email loads. Is there anything else you find challenging about it?
No, not really. The challenging things for me is I already have answers for some of the things it does. It has email. See where up here it says all tracked email? This is part of Streak. I have it turned off because I'm using Mixmax for my email tracking. I'd rather not have this here, and I'd probably figure out a way to get rid of it.
When you say tracking emails, what do you mean exactly?
I know when my clients open their emails.
You use Mixmatch.
Mixmax. I use MailChimp too, but Mixmax is how I send all of my project emails, onboarding emails, because it comes straight from my email and not MailChimp goes to spam way too often for me to have my project emails in there. So Mixmax I have like over 150 email templates. They're all in there. Every Monday morning, I go through each project and set up that week's worth of email. I find that also in MailChimp, when you're setting up project emails, sometimes you're waiting for the client before the next one goes out, and that trigger can get messed up. And I'm not into that. I'm a little more hands-on than that.
Gotcha. Well, Cami, this has been very enlightening. I definitely want to try this because I too am a spreadsheet person. I still do project plans in Excel, depending on the size of the project. If it doesn't have a lot of dependent tasks and stuff, I'll just put it right in Excel just because it's so comfortable and the client is comfortable with it if they need to review the project plan or do any input to it. So
yeah, and you can start with their own little cheat sheet templates that they have for things. They have templates for leads and everything else. But I have spent years developing my workflow. So I had it right off the top of my head what I wanted each pipeline to be. I love you can customize and make changes to it.
That's another good point about tools. I remember Brad Morrison telling me when we were talking about automation, he said the most important thing about automation is to do it manually first. Because if you don't do it manually, you don't really even know what your requirements are, and you don't know if the automation is really saving you any time or not.
You can appear too automated to your clients. Even though I have all these email templates, in many of the emails, like this morning, I programmed all my 3 most recent project emails to go out. I put something personal. I sprinkle personal stuff in the pre-written email so it doesn't feel so stale to them.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. Cami, this has been really helpful, and you are just a plethora of information. And I know when I met you in St. Louis, I know you were feeling a little bit nervous about being on camera and teaching people things and things like this.
Yeah.
And now you are doing that a lot, and I'm happy because you have so much to share. I'm really glad.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not on the speaker circuit like you are, but I have definitely experienced a little ease into this during COVID because everything we've done for GoDaddy, everything we've done together, all the events I've attended on Zoom, my weekly BNI meeting, which is a networking group I'm in, I'm used to doing it on screen, and it's much easier than in front of a room for me.
Right. Karen wants to know if you have your email automations for PPP. What does that stand for?
That's Profitable Project Plan. I have that going through Mixmax, which is an add-on to my Gmail. So it's all part of Gmail for me. And Mixmax, we could have a whole nother talk about that someday. Mixmax you can pay more for automations there. I just do it manually, but it is definitely the best place I see because the email comes from my email, not through a third party where they get thrown into spam.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna have to look into it anyway. Cami, if people want to follow you or get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
For all of you who are freelancers, I have a Facebook group that's just really friends of mine who are web designers. It's Web Cami Cafe. Google that or put it into Facebook. I have webcamicafe.com. That's my website where I share all my tips about being a freelancer and my experiences. Webcami.com is my business website I purchased back in 2000. I'm pretty happy I got that domain. And Yeah, I haven't. I'm not like Google. I haven't changed. I haven't rebranded since 2002. I guess I've changed my logo a little bit.
I just put the link to your group in the Facebook chat.
Oh, okay, great.
So yeah, y'all join if you've got the bandwidth, join Cami's group. She posts some interesting stuff over there. What about Twitter? Do you tweet?
I'm on Twitter a lot. I opine. I'll just say that at webcami.
Okay. She's well branded under webcami.
Yeah, you just Google webcami. I'm everywhere. I've got a Facebook page for my business. I'm on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok yet.
Do you have a sign up on your website for a newsletter or anything like that where people will know when you post a blog?
On both of my websites, there's a sign up to get something. So yes, the webcami.com would be the best one to go to.
Okay, I'm going to put that link in the chat here too. See, it's weird because I can't do that. I can't make a comment in StreamYard.
I don't think I can either.
The link into webcami.com.
My email address, cami@webcami.com. Obviously, I run everything through my email. And if you don't go to spam, I'll connect with you that way. I'm not one of those people that hides everything. Just shoot me an email if you can't find it. I may have taken the sign down. There should be something that says like 5 things you can do on your website right now at webcami.com on the homepage.
Look around, Karen, you'll find it. If it's not there, just send Cami an email. She'll make sure you get on.
Yeah, I try to get most of my business through referrals versus Google. It's not really my strong. I like to know people who know people I know.
I understand. Thank you so much for being here today, Cami.
So thanks, Beth. I love hanging out with you. Can't wait till we're in a hotel lobby.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in that hotel lobby during the US. Cami, just so you know, every Friday morning, which would be 7 a.m. for you, we have a Friday chat. We carry on whatever conversation we had on Monday where everybody can tune in and chat. So this Friday, we're going to talk some more about CRMs, find out what you guys are using, what you like, what you don't like, what you're looking for, that sort of thing. And next Monday, we're not going to have a live training because that's the week the Page Builder Summit starts. And my talk is that day. So we won't have a live on Monday, and we may or may not have a Friday chat that. But tune in this Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, and we will chat more about CRMs. Cami, stay on when I end this, and we'll chat for another minute.
Everyone, this was the first time I've ever done a Facebook Live. It was really fun. I'm glad I had my friend Beth to initiate me into this world.
Until I see you guys on Friday, remember, stay productive, stay strong, and never stop learning. I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.